So let's get started automating our routers and switches. We'll start by using our existing file, since most of it is reusable. I'm going to save this as a new file, and I'm going to call this commandrunner.py. We don't need this anymore. What we do need is to import our friend Netmiko. And another tool we're going to use is JSON. JSON is the JavaScript object notation. I'll talk a little more about that later. So let's take a look at the Netmiko library and how it works. Let's do that in the interactive shell. We'll import Netmiko. And let's import JSON. Let's do the same thing in Python 3. So what can we do with Netmiko? I'm glad you asked. Let's see what methods it provides. The one we are most concerned with is connect handler, which we are going to use to create a connection to our router or switch. We will also be interested in these two exceptions. So how do we use connect handler? What we'll do is we'll create a connection object and we'll point it to the Netmiko connect handler. Now, connect handler requires at least 4 pieces of information. First, it wants to know the IP address of the device we are connecting to. You could also give it a DNS host name here, but I'll just give it an IP address. It also wants to know what kind of device this is. So I'll tell it the device type is Cisco IOS. And I need to give it a username to log on with, which is admin. And finally, I need to provide the password. So I'll hit enter here and the prompt comes back. I now have a connection to this device. We can see a connection object. And I can take a look at what methods the connection object provides to me. So there are lots of methods available to this connection object. The one we are most interested in is send command. We also want to use send config set. We could do send config from file as well. We also want to use disconnect. You should always close out your connection properly, and disconnect will log you out of the device. Now let's do something with this connection. Let's send a command. Let's do a show IP interface brief. And you're getting back the output you would expect to get if you ran this from an SSH session, except it's formatted a bit differently. So let's do the same command but wrap it in a print function. You'll notice all these new line characters. The \n, that represents the new line character and tells the computer the start of a new line. So now that we told Python to print the string returned by the command, it looks exactly like what we would get if we were logged in via an SSH connection. And that's because that is exactly what we're doing here. We're asking Python to establish an SSH connection and send a show IP command as if it were being typed. Now I'll show you how to disconnect from the device using the disconnect method. It's that simple. Now if we try to do our show command again, after we've already disconnected, we get an error. It says the socket is closed. So now let's put this into a script. I'm going to send a show clock command because the show clock command is small and simple, and it proves that the command works and it doesn't create a lot of output. Okay, I'll save that. We'll switch to the Linux shell to run it. We see our file. Let's change mode +X so we can execute the script. And now let's run it. Okay, looks like I never printed the output. So let's wrap our send command inside the print function. Save it again. And let's try it again. Okay, so now we get the output of our show clock command. That's wonderful, right?